Knitting too tightly can really slow you down, and it's another hard habit to break. But it slows you down because each time this stitch is too tight, you have to work really, really, really hard to get your needle in there, and everything is really tense. So these are a couple things that I've noticed among knitters that knit too tight that I think that you might be able to work on. The first one is when you've got the yarn grabbed so tight here that it sort of flattens out. So yarn is springy. Should be like that, right? But a lot of time I see knitters, they're holding on to it so tight down here in their fingers that as it feeds over their finger, it's all flattened out, and they're having to they're pulling the yarn tight as they knit. So you can see it's already tight, tight, tight on the needle, like that. You can see, I mean, it makes a dent in their finger sometimes, they're knitting so tight, like that. So each stitch is really tight here. So another thing so go ahead and just try and let it feed a little bit through your fingers until the yarn just looks like this, like its natural size and shape that it's supposed to be, and not flattened in any way, like that. And the other thing that you can do is make sure that with every stitch, you let the yarn feed through your fingers. Right here, see how the yarn feeds right over my finger? And this works American style too. But it works right here. See, I'm letting the yarn feed. I'm not holding it tight and pulling it around. And this, when I say holding it tight, this is why you're holding it tight, is because your fingers are sort of tightly together like that and not letting the yarn feed. So that's what I mean by letting the yarn feed through your fingers. And it's tricky, but your hands will get used to it. So right here, letting the yarn feed as you wrap the yarn and make the new stitch, because this new stitch needs yarn in order to grow. Right? If you don't let it feed, you're not giving it enough yarn. So let the yarn feed through your fingers, and you'll get the tension, thereby creating a stitch that's nice and even. So your stitches aren't ever going to get any smaller than the size of your needle. They can't, right? So no matter how tight you knit, it's not going to get any smaller than this. So just go ahead and make it so that you can move the stitches easily on your needles like that, without them being too loose or too tight. Like this. Right here, as you create each new stitch, let some yarn feed in order to create this stitch so that then you can make the new one. And you're knitting, and it may get a little bit too loose as you find a balance. The pendulum usually swings one way and then the other before it settles down at a nice balance in the middle. So just adjust your tension. See, that's like a little bit too loose now. So just keep adjusting it till you can move the stitches easily on your needle, but not so tight like these ones, like I showed you originally.